Hey everybody, so not long ago I was a guest on the Matt and Matt O-Scale Train podcast along with Ryan Kunkel from Lionel, and together we went over the new Lionel 2022 Volume 2 catalog, and I've uploaded a copy of that podcast to my channel, so check it out if you haven't. So what I'm going to do in this video is go over what I finally decided to order from that 2022 Volume 2 catalog. But before I go over what I ordered from the new catalog, I want to briefly talk about the process of ordering new trains from Lionel whenever they put out a new catalog. I feel this might be helpful to newcomers to the hobby because it can kind of be confusing how you order new trains. If you do it right, you can get the trains you want mint in box for the best price possible. If you do it wrong, you might end up on eBay paying way too much for the same train. Now, if you're an experienced hobbyist and you know all about pre-ordering trains, feel free to skip over this section to the next chapter in this video. So the way it works with Lionel and many other train makers is that Lionel puts out two catalogs every year, a Volume 1 catalog and a Volume 2 catalog. Usually the Volume 1 catalog is the larger of the two. And so in those catalogs, they list everything that they're planning on making in the near future. Note that I said they're planning on making, not that they have made it. Everything in the catalog is what's gonna be made if they get orders for those items. And so what you do is you look through the catalogs and you decide what you'd like to order, and then you contact your favorite Lionel dealer and you place a pre-order for that item. And pre-ordering is really important because it lets Lionel know whether or not to make that model and how many to make. So if you want to ensure you get the model that you want and get it mint in box, pre-ordering is the way to do it. So the way pre-ordering usually works is that most dealers will give you a window in which to place your order once the catalog comes out. With my local train store, Legacy Station, I think it's a 60-day window. So the catalog drops and then I have 60 days to place my order. Now it doesn't matter if you place your order on day 1 or on day 59. They're all the same and they'll all go to Lionel at the same time. So it's not a race or anything. Usually what I do is once the catalog comes out, I look at everything and kind of make a general list of what I like. And then over the next few weeks, I kind of whittle that down and narrow it down to the stuff that I really want. And then finally, usually around day 58 or 59 for me, I send my order over to Legacy Station and they submit it all to Lionel. So pre-ordering is the best way to get the best price on those new models, because at worst, you're going to pay full retail price, the retail price that's listed in the catalog. However, most Lionel dealers will give you a pre-order discount, which will usually range anywhere from 5 to 20% depending on the dealer. So you put your deposit down and then you wait for your item to arrive. And that waiting time can be, a few months, or it might be up to a year or so. With diesels, those usually come out pretty fast, usually a few months. With big fancy things like Vision Line locomotives, those might take a year. It just all depends on how difficult and how long it's going to take Lionel to make it. But pre-ordering is the key to the whole thing, and it ensures that you'll get the model you want and get it for the best price possible for a mint in box model. If you don't pre-order, then you have to try to get it after the fact, and that means going on eBay or someplace like that. And the prices on eBay right now for new used Lionel items is just crazy. I saw a 49er Challenger on eBay that's going for over $5,000. The 49er Challengers originally sold a few years ago for, I think, $2,200 or something, or maybe $2,500, something like that. And now they want $5,200 for it for a used version. It's insane. So if you buy your stuff on eBay, you may get ripped off and pay way more than you have to. So the best way to do it is to pre-order your trains. Anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, let's talk about what I pre-ordered from the 2022 Volume 2 catalog.
Alright, so I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as I can, especially since we already talked about a lot of the details of these models in the Matt and Matt O-Scale podcast show. So starting with the Brass Hybrid Challenger, even though I've got 3 models of the Challenger in my collection already, I've got a black one, I've got a Greyhound, and I've got a 49er, I don't have one of these early versions of the Challenger, and so I thought this was interesting. So even though I liked the 49er paint scheme that they show on pages 18 and 19, ultimately I went with a paint scheme that I don't have, and that is no paint scheme. I ordered the Pilot CSA Challenger, which is the first Challenger that they show at the top of the page. And a lot of people don't like these unpainted Pilot versions, It's okay if you don't, but many of you know that I do like these pilot editions, and so now I'll have a pilot of the Challenger, which will be pretty cool. Moving on to the L1 Mikado. The one that I ordered is the Pennsylvania number 1343, which is at the bottom left of page 20. And I got it because I like that doghouse tender on the back. That's the main reason why I ordered that specific L1 Mikado. Then we get to the Greenbriers, and I did order a Greenbrier. Now, I've already got a black normal Greenbrier that was made by MTH a few years back, and so I went with the really cool Chessie Greenbrier that's on pages 26 and 27. I'm really excited about this. In fact, this is the model that I'm most excited about in this entire catalog. So I ordered the Greenbrier, and then I ordered all of the matching passenger cars down below. This should be really fun when it arrives, and it'll be a lot of fun to review as well. Then we have the 260s. Although I like these, and I was tempted to order one of the Strasbourg 260s, I ultimately passed on this locomotive because, believe it or not, I do have a budget. I don't have unlimited amounts of money. And although this was on my initial order list, it ultimately got cut. And the reason is because I'm already getting a Strasbourg locomotive that's coming in, I think, later this year. And also, this doesn't have a lot of cool features. It doesn't have whistle steam. It doesn't have a swinging bell. It basically just has legacy, and that's it. And so, although I like it, ultimately, like I said, it got cut. But who knows? Maybe I'll add one later on down the road. Next, we skip ahead to the diesels and the SD40 T2 tunnel motors, and I ordered two of these. Both of them are the Southern Pacific Kodachrome versions. So I ordered Southern Pacific number 8256 and then number 8573, which is a super base unit. So these should be a lot of fun when they arrive. And I chose the Kodachrome tunnel motors because they look unlike anything else I have in my fleet right now. They look awesome. Now we get to the FA2AA sets and the B units. And this took a while for me to decide on. I like all of these. I like the Erie and the LNN. Originally, I was going to order the New York Central FA set that's on page 40. I was going to get the AA set and then the two B units. And I liked this New York Central set because it reminds me of the post-war 2344 sets that Lionel brought out in 1950. I think they did those from 1950 to 1952. And they also did a B unit. I think that was the 2344C, and that was done up until 1955. But ultimately, I decided to go with the United States Marine Corps FA set. And again, I got the 2A units and the 2B units. But because I got this set, I also had to get some of the matching rolling stock. So I ordered the caboose that's on page 43, the boxcar, and then some of those passenger cars down below. I didn't get all the passenger cars. I got the set B, set C, and then the Station Sounds Diner. And I like this because, again, it goes back to the post-war period, and it's sort of a modern version of the post-war 212 and 212T Marine Corps FA units that they made back then. I think the 212 was made from 1958 to 1959 originally. Then we get to the Heritage SD70s. Now, these look amazing, and if I didn't already have some of these, I would definitely order them. However, I've already got all of these from when they were made by MTH, and so getting any of these UP Heritage units would kind of be a redundancy, and the only reason I'd be doing it is to get something with legacy instead of Proto Sound 3. So, I would have liked to have gotten them in a perfect world, but again, I don't have unlimited funds, and so I ended up not ordering any of the UP Heritage units. Also, I didn't order any because I'm waiting for Lionel to bring back the Norfolk Southern Heritage units, because the first time they did those, I was able to get about half of them, but not all of them, and so maybe next time they come around, I'll be able to fill in the blanks and complete my Norfolk Southern Heritage fleet. However, on page 47, I did order one of the Montana Rail Link SD70s. I got the one on top, the Essential Workers, and that's because, a lot of people know that I'm a big MRL fan. I've got a lot of MRL diesels in my fleet, and so I couldn't pass on one of these. And I decided to get the Essential Workers because, that kind of reflects the whole COVID pandemic times. Whereas the veterans, even though it's beautiful, I've got a lot of other veterans units. And the fact is that there'll be more diesels made thanking veterans, which they should be thanked. But I don't know, the next time we'll have a big COVID pandemic, and so I thought that was more indicative of a period in time to get the essential workers SD70. It's sort of a snapshot in time, if you will. Next we have the H1544s, and this is a no-brainer. I got one of the Central of Georgia units. I got Central of Georgia number 101. And that's because I live in Georgia, and so anytime I see something with Georgia, there's a pretty good chance I'll order it. On pages 50 and 51, I really liked the Western Maryland Hagerstown Hotshot set, and originally it was on my order list, but ultimately it got cut due to budgetary reasons. And then the last two items that I ordered were Lion Chief Plus 2.0 locomotives. So on pages 68 and 69, I ordered the Alaska Railroad Dockside Switcher. I'm really excited to get that. And then I also ordered the Seaboard NW2 Switcher on page 69. And I'm really excited about that as well because that's kind of a throwback to the post-war era as well. It reminds me of the old Seaboard 601 that Lionel made in 1956. And that's it. That's everything I pre-ordered from the 2022 Volume 2 catalog. Now, in case you didn't watch the earlier part of this video, keep in mind that is a pre-order. It doesn't mean that I have it in my possession yet, so I can't review any of the stuff that I've pre-ordered yet because it hasn't been made. Lionel has the pre-orders, and now they're going to go ahead and start making these items. And as I said earlier, how long it takes them to make it, it just depends, on a lot of factors. But generally speaking, probably in about 6 months, we'll start seeing some of the diesels from this catalog. And then the nicer stuff like the steam locomotives and so forth, those will probably start arriving in mid to late 2023, if I had to guess. So, first you pre-order, then you wait. And the waiting is, it can take 6 months, it can take a year, sometimes it can take a year and a half. It just depends on how long it takes Lionel to manufacture the item. But that's how it works. So my pre-order is in, I've put my deposits down, and now, just like everybody else, I have to wait. So if you're wondering if I'm going to review these items, the answer is yes, I will review them as soon as they arrive.
All right, so there you have it. That's everything I ordered from the new 2022 Volume 2 Lionel catalog. Let me know what you think about what I ordered. Would you have ordered something different? I'd like to hear your opinions in the comments below. If you'd like to support this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. That can be done through Patreon at patreon.com/ericstrains. I'll put a link to my Patreon page in the description below. Patreon supporters get all sorts of perks and benefits, and you can read about those benefits on my Patreon page. I'd like to put a big thank you out there to all of my current Patreon supporters. Your support means the world, not only to me, but to the future of this channel. And an extra big thank you goes out to my premium tier Patreon supporters. You'll see their names at the end of this video. Anyway, that does it for now. I'm Eric Siegel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.